Hello everyone, nubkeks here, and welcome back to Nub Star Rail. In today's video, it's maybe the most important video we've ever done so far on the channel. By the way, new channel, so if you like the content, make sure to like the video and subscribe and all of the rest. But today we're going to be talking about how many Stellar Jade, more importantly, how many special Star Rail passes, how many special warps can I get every single patch, and therefore, how many of these limited 5-star characters can I expect to get? And how do I plan moving forwards, right? Okay, if I can get this many, then how do I target them when I start seeing previews about what's coming up in the patches? How many can I actually get, reasonably speaking? That's what I want to talk about here in today's video. So let's dive in. The game doesn't really fully explain. I mean, I guess it gives you all the info, but it's not super clear. So I want to make it a lot more clear for you. I guess the first thing to know about is the 50-50, right? You've got when you do get a 5-star, there's a 50% chance that you get the limited edition one that's on the banner, and then there's a 50% chance that you get just the standard ones. So like any of the other, like these other 7, you get one of those. If you don't get the limited one the first time, the second time you pull and you get a 5-star limited, you will get them for sure. So it's a 50-50. It sort of leans a little bit, obviously, in favor of the limited. I think you'll get the limited, maybe 2 limiteds for every 1 non-limited you get off these banners overall because of how that works. But that is worth noting. It's definitely something you can play around if you want to. Now, what I've got here, I've done up my little notepad to make things more clear for you. So first of all, this is important. You are 100% guaranteed a 5-star after 90 pulls. 100%. You cannot not get. You will definitely get it at 90 pulls, which is what I think it says exactly in the game, in fact. I don't know. It says it somewhere. There you go. Within 90 warps, at least 1 5-star is guaranteed. Like, they will, if you've pulled 90 times and you've not got any 5-star limited, on the 90th pull, you will get it 100%. But it's super unlikely to get there, actually. If you look at the stats, it's really, really, really unlikely that you are going to get there. So we've got our first little chart here. I think this is probably the most helpful one, which sort of breaks it down. And in fact, this is going to also explain the other thing, which is what's called soft pity. Soft pity, this chart, I'll have to explain this chart because this might be a little misleading at first. This is not your chance on each individual warp to get them, but rather like the cumulative chances. We'll talk about it. Soft pity starts at 74 pulls. So after 74 pulls, up until that point, your chance is still the same. You have, what is it? I think a 0.6%. Yeah, you have a 0.6% chance to get a 5-star on every pull. That does not change until warp number 74. And then the number I've seen thrown around is that on warp 74 and every warp after that, it increases the chance to get the character by 7%. So on 74, it jumps to a 7.6. On 75, 14.6% chance. 76, was it 21.6% chance. So your chances stack up a lot. This is what this chart is showing. This is basically think about it more as the percentage of people pulling for a 5-star character when they will get one. So, you know, you've got lots of little 0.6% chances. So, you know, a very small number of people are sort of gradually getting it on the 0.6% chances as they keep pulling and pulling and pulling. But then when you get to pull 74 and the chances start going up, loads of people start getting it. So as you can see, most people, really over 50% of people, will get their 5-star between pull 74 and pull 80, you know? And by the time you get to pull 80, 90% of people will have gotten a 5-star by that point, before that point, right? Interesting enough, about, 30%, 36-ish%, right? Roughly, let's say 1 in 3 people will get a 5-star before reaching soft pity, right? Before the 74. But we sort of expect we're mostly going to get it in there. And as you can see, right, you get to almost 100% chance way before pull 90. Like, the chances to get, as I said, all the way up to the absolute guaranteed at 90 pulls is extremely unlikely, because the chance on each pull, like between 80 and 90, is so absurdly high that you will get the character. It's almost impossible to get to 90. It's actually probably quite an achievement. So that's sort of what is going on there. Actually, before we go on, let me jump over to the next thing I want to show you, which is this right here. This was from on my Discord channel. This is from 910 on my Discord channel. Again, I haven't properly validated, because this is a new channel. I've been very slow. I haven't properly validated the channel, so I can't put links in the description. If you really want to find it, the Discord, I will link it in an upcoming video, probably the next week. I'm going off for a few days on holiday. I'm trying to get videos done in advance. But when I'm back for sure, I will get it properly validated, and I can actually put links to stuff in the description. It'll be amazing. It'll be a game changer. If you want to find the Discord, you could, I think I have my other channel linked through the channels thing on it, and you can go to Nub Raids, and then it will be linked in all those videos and channel description, the Discord channel, and you can find the Honkai Star Rail section. Anyway, but this is from 910, who's in the Asia region. But this is actually, I think this is such a cool resource. In fact, can I make this full screen, make it bigger? Yeah, there we go. This shows his warp history basically for the lifetime of his account, which is really cool. I haven't used this tool myself, but this seems really interesting. And we can see basically this working exactly as we talked about. So 80 pulls for a Bailu, 76, 81, 80. He got lucky, got Kafka early at 36. Then at 78, 83, that's quite unlucky. 79, 79. So in terms of his 5-star luck, he's a little bit unlucky overall, but you know, still, there you go. You can see exactly pretty much what is happening. You're very, very much expected to get it somewhere between 70 and 80, and you can sometimes get it earlier. It's really unlikely to go further. Bam, that's exactly what we're looking at. And again, you can see the 50-50 system at work, right? Got Bailu, on his next one, he's guaranteed limited, got limited. Silver Wolf is limited. Next time he got Japard, who's not limited, guaranteed to get Kafka, got Japard again, who is not limited, got the limited the next time. Clara isn't limited, he was guaranteed limited, and then he actually got a few back, got super lucky, Black Swan and Acheron back to back. Acheron and 9 pulls is kind of insane after Black Swan 30, so he's had good luck recently. Yeah, that is though how it sort of breaks down, so you can see this stuff playing out. Now, the average amount of pulls is 60, whoop, oh dear. We scrolled too far. We've given it all away, given the video away. On average, 62.5 pulls to get a 5-star, but this is on average. So remember, if you are planning, okay, let's say I'm going into the next patch. I want to get Robin, right? Who's going to be in patch, 2.2. I want Robin. I've got no passes. Going in with 62.5, it's not a good idea. This is the average, right? Because you are, again, if your average is here, you're usually getting it, you know, 74 to 80. You very rarely go above that, so it brings it up slightly, but then sometimes you can go down a lot. You could get it way early, as you can see here. So that pulls the average down to about 62.5. But again, you know, while the average is 62.5, because those lucky events pull the average down, I would be sort of expecting to go about 80 for a 5-star. Likewise, 50% of the time you don't get a limited, so the average cost in the lifetime of you pulling for a 5-star limited is 93.75. But I would realistically go in, and let's say I said, I really want, let's even say right now, okay, Acheron is on right now. I only want to pull if I am basically guaranteed to get her. How many passes do I need to get her? Let's say there's like 1 day left on it. You're going, okay, will I go all in now? Or do I want to save up for someone in the future? I guess it wouldn't. You're building up your pity anyway. It carries over between banners, but still. Basically, what I'd be saying is, okay, I would plan, you know, 74 to 80. And again, to be guaranteed, I'd sort of plan to lose the 50-50 just to make sure. And if you're lucky, great. But I'd be looking at, if you want to be super safe, you know, about 150, 160 pulls to be pretty much guaranteed you're going to get the champion. In fact, it's probably overkill. Most of the time it will be, but you're basically guaranteed like 150 pulls. Like it's exceptionally likely that you're getting them, and it's even very likely you're walking away with a bunch of passes to spare, but you're very, very safe. If you want to be uber super safe, but it's totally unnecessary, 180 passes, you are 100% guaranteed, you know, even in the worst possible luck. But I mean, again, that's sort of like winning the unlucky lottery at that point. It's so unlikely. But yeah, in the long term, on average, every 93.75 pulls you're getting is a 5-star limited. but to sort of guarantee you can get a specific 5-star limited, you might be looking at more like 140 to 160 or so, I would say. Here's another thing. Aha, we've got to go on to our other page here. So here's another interesting one, which is the average warps you get. Okay, shout out to the guys on Reddit that made these posts. Shit, I don't have the back buttons. Sorry. But shout out to the Reddit guys that made this post. I'm not sure how to even check this stuff. I just found it through Googling, right? But the F2P event warps per version. So this is how many you get. So interesting, in 1.0, you can see the permanent content section is massive because that's all of like the achievements, all the main story quests in 1.0, all of like the simulated universe curios and things like that. They're giving you Stellar Jade in 1.0. That's what, you're looking to get. After that, obviously, there's new simulated universe stuff added in the patches. There's new achievements. There's new quests added. This is sort of the typical breakdown in the patches. The average warps that you get per patch, if you don't exclude patch 1, is 101.5. Now, obviously, this would be sort of going in if you've done everything else. You might have more warps available to you. Like if you're a new player right now, like I am, like I've had a huge influx of warps at the start because I've been doing a lot of this permanent content. And all of that. And then, yeah, the later you start, the more of this permanent content will have built up. You'll have a nice backlog of Stellar Jade. Now, some of it is just going to be gone. Like some of these events are going to be gone. Kind of limited time events basically are going to be gone, like MOC, the daily training, all that stuff you can't go back to. So you will lose out on that coming in later. But yeah, the permanent content carries up. But roughly speaking, you'd be looking at about 100 warps per patch. So what this means is on average, typically, you can expect to get about 1 limited 5-star champion per patch. Now, again, as we said, this is the average. If you want to plan to sort of specifically get a specific limited 5-star character, you probably want to save up about 150 pulls to be really, really, really sure. And if you've got 150 pulls and you're getting 100 per patch, that means, in 3 patches, you can get 2. And I suppose if you've come into it with a bit of a stockpile, you could manipulate where you could get the 2. If you've come into a new patch with absolutely 0 pulls, obviously it takes probably a good chunk of the length of the patch to do the dailies and stuff like that and get the pulls. So you might not be able to get, your second one until near the end. But yeah, that's roughly speaking what I would say. Typically, we're looking at about, 2 limited characters that you can target in every 3 patches, but like typically you're going to get lucky sometimes, and that's more likely to pull it down to about 1 limited per patch. So if we jump over to a recent video I did, that's actually crazy. It got 23,000 views. The heck, man. That's so funny. I didn't even make a thumbnail for this one. I was just like, the basic thumbnail is pretty cool. Let's just put it up, whatever. Like super, super well performing video. It's insane. But like if we look at this broadly speaking, right? Let's say you're sitting here in 2.1 now. Let's say you've gone for Acheron. Bam. Okay, so we got Acheron, and we're sitting at like 0 pulls. Let's say it's the end of 2.1. You get Acheron, so we're starting fresh 2.2. We've got 0 pulls. It's going to take us basically all of 2.2 because 2.2 is 1 patch, not a phase. 2.2 is the patch, right? So we will get about 100 pulls over the course of 2.2. If these predictions are correct, I mean, obviously these are predictions, but you would not be able to get any of these characters guaranteed in that. You could certainly try, like, because again, it's, you're likely to get a limited character for sure with 80 pulls. And then it would be a 50-50 to get one of them. You could give it a shot, right? So you're starting from nothing, but it wouldn't be super guaranteed. But coming into 2.3, at that point, with 100 pulls and 100, you'd be at 200 pulls. You could basically guarantee one of these limited characters during it, pretty much no problem. You would likely carry stuff over, and you would probably, again, across 3 patches, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, starting from 0, you couldn't save up enough to guarantee one of them in 2.2, but you could guarantee one in 2.3, and you could guarantee one in 2.4, and then you would sort of start again. Obviously, that's working off typical averages. If you do get lucky and you get a character early, that can really sort of snowball and springboard you into getting another 5-star. So that's something to consider as well. But yeah, I think that's the this one over here, like the actual. I think this is the perfect example, an actual person, their actual example for what they've done. And you can see you are going to get the non-limited characters. Sometimes it will happen. Typically, you probably want to be expecting, just be pessimistic and then be pleasantly surprised. But go in expecting I'm going to need probably 75 to 80 pulls to get someone. There's a decent chance we don't get it at the 50-50. That's cool. I think you play around that long term and that's going to pay off. And like I said, the good luck that does come sometimes will pay off and bring it more down to around 90 or so. So roughly 1 5-star limited per patch on average. But there you go. Puts in perspective. The last video I did was on, is it worth going for like E2 S1 Acheron or any character really? Is it worth going for Eidolons in general? And it sort of shows you the cost of Eidolons. Like if we were to go E2 S1 and Acheron, like you're sort of basically giving up two and a half, almost 3 of these characters potentially, right? You're giving up a lot of characters to do it. We talked about that in the previous video, so check that out if you want to see sort of my thoughts on it, because I think both are viable. Building tall versus building wide. There's pros and cons to both, and I talked about it in detail in the last video. So look, there you go. Thank you big time to Mr. Nameless, Mr. 910, for actually submitting a great example of his personal luck in the past. Hopefully this was a useful breakdown for you. I'll probably talk about my pulling plans because I've got lots saved up at this point, my pulling plans moving forwards. Oh, also, I should also mention, of course, as they said, if you're non-free to play, if you've got the battle pass, you're going to get an extra 8 warps per patch, right, per version. And, if you buy the, the daily Jade pack as well, you're going to get more from that too. So that will increase the amount that you get, make it much easier to get them. But yeah, this was sort of the free to play guide. So there you go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.